How to Heal After a Breakup, Healing Parables. In a small town, there lived a woman named Mariann. On the surface, her life seemed stable and secure. She took pride in her cozy home, loved tending to her garden, and found comfort in the steady rhythm of her daily life. But when her partner, Alex, decided to leave, her entire world crumbled. Everything she once considered reliable and unshakable felt as fragile as sand slipping through her fingers. In the first days after the breakup, Mariann was consumed by despair. Her heart ached and her thoughts tormented her. Why did he do this? Everything was fine. She felt abandoned, betrayed, and profoundly alone. To her, Alex had shattered the orderly life they had built together. The cozy little corner where she had poured so much love and effort. Every inch of the house reminded her of him. His favorite chair, the chipped mug he always used, the book left on the nightstand. Mariann hid her tears, but inside, a storm raged. One evening, exhausted from sleepless nights, Mariann stepped out into her garden. The moonlight blanketed everything in a soft silver glow, and a gentle breeze rustled the branches of the old apple tree. She sat down on the bench beneath it and, to her surprise, felt as if the tree itself was speaking to her. "Why are you crying, dear?" came a quiet voice in her mind. Mariann turned sharply, but no one was there. "Is that you, tree?" she asked, barely believing her own ears. "Yes, it's me," the apple tree replied. "I see you're suffering. Would you like to hear a story?" Mariann nodded, a strange sense of relief washing over her. It felt comforting to have her pain acknowledged. "Once long ago, there were two trees growing here," the apple tree began. "Their roots were intertwined, and they grew together. But one of the trees began to feel it could no longer grow where it was. It didn't get enough sunlight, its branches stretched into emptiness, and its leaves began to wither. It decided to change and be replanted. The other tree, left behind, was terrified. It believed it could not survive without its companion. "And what happened to it?" Mariann whispered, holding her breath. "At first it grieved," the apple tree replied. "But over time, its roots spread out, finding a new source of water. It grew stronger. Eventually, its branches spread so wide that it could shelter anyone seeking shade beneath them." The tree's words struck Mariann to her core. Her pain began to ease, and she suddenly realized she needed to find her own strength. But how could she do that with a shattered heart? In the weeks that followed, Mariann began seeking support. She confided her feelings to an old friend, Susan, who invited her for walks along the river. Their conversations were warm and sincere. Susan gently reminded Mariann that her worth as a person was not defined by whether or not she had a partner. Mariann also signed up for painting classes. Her instructor, Mr. Aldridge, was a wise and patient man. During one lesson, he told her, "Mariann, do you know what's most important in a painting? It's not the details, but the empty space between them. That space lets the whole canvas breathe." Maybe the space in your life right now is allowing you to truly breathe for the first time. Her thoughts began to shift. One evening, sitting under the apple tree, she reflected, "Why am I clinging to this marriage? Did it ever bring me joy? Were Alex and I ever truly close?" The answers were bitter but honest. Their partnership had been functional. The house, the routines, the shared responsibilities. But there had been no real emotional connection. No warmth, no love. Months passed, and Mariann began to feel lighter. She found new passions, made new friends, and her home was soon filled with laughter. She realized that life did not end with her separation from Alex. In fact, it was just beginning. Now, she knew she deserved a relationship where she would be loved deeply and sincerely. One day, she returned to the apple tree and said, "Thank you for your story. You were right. I have found my roots and my place in the sun. Like that tree from your tale, I'm ready to offer my shade and warmth to those who need it. The apple tree's branches swayed gently, as if in agreement. The moonlight once again bathed the garden in its soft glow, but this time Mariann's heart felt calm and free. She knew that ahead of her lay new and bright chapters of life. The end.